Getting back to doing some more of these college football preview videos for the 2021 season. Got to keep cracking down on them. Got to get back to them. Today, you can see that logo there. We already did that team. We got to look at as Bear Bryant called them, the Cal College on the other side of the states. Yeah, that's right. We're looking at the Alabama A&M, Auburn 2021 football schedule. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Chris Ballard here with Ballard Sports Media, coming at you today with a schedule preview video. I tried to do this the other day, but it wasn't uploading and everything. I don't know what happened to it, so I'm just going to try to redo this here. Whatever. Going to be looking at the Auburn Tigers, and they had a pretty rough year last year. Obviously, firing Gus Malzahn, he's out. We got a new coach over there. We as college football fans, we as college football fans, if we pay attention to the SEC, we got a new coach in the SEC. Ugh, I'm not saying we like Auburn. God, I hate Auburn with a passion. I hate them. I was going to get that out of the way. Auburn, as a Bama fan, truly, respect for the fans and the players, but the logos and everything, ugh, gosh. It's like poison. It's that rat poison. I don't know. But they got a new head coach, Brian Harsin out of Boise State. I already made a video a couple months ago when he first got hired, right after the season ended. And I gave my thoughts on him. I think he's a great hire. Interesting hire. I said after Malzahn got fired, I'm like, can Auburn do better than Malzahn? Is this going to be better than Malzahn? I don't know. I don't know what they can do. I have no idea. We are going to see, and we're going to find out. But you look at last year, and no excuse for any team getting fired, any head coach getting fired last year with COVID. Now we don't have that. Well, we have it, but apparently there's going to be fans in the stands, regular season. Alabama, Brian Denny's going to be filled up. I don't know what y'all talking about, but Auburn last year, 6-5, 10-game schedule. Everyone's apparently bowl eligible, although they did hit the number of wins they needed to. They lost their bowl game, though, to Northwestern, 35-19 in the Citrus Bowl. Pretty rough for them. They had, so how did they start out? Well, started out with Kentucky. They won that. They lost at Georgia. They lost to Georgia in Athens, which I'll give you that. It was at Athens. But didn't Georgia have Stetson Bennett at quarterback or whoever? It wasn't JT yet, I don't think. So, congratulations, Auburn. Arkansas, you beat them, but a close game. There was controversy at the end of the game. I don't even care. I don't even care who did what. I don't care what miscall happened. I don't care. But they gave the win to Auburn. South Carolina, y'all went to Columbia and lost to the Gamecocks by 8 points. South Carolina, meanwhile, is going to fire Will Muschamp halfway through their season or whatever. Went to Ole Miss, you beat them. Good win. LSU, good win. 2 back-to-back bye weeks on November 7th, November 14th. Come off that. You beat Tennessee pretty handily. You need to do that. Then here we go. The Iron Bowl. Big revenge game for Alabama. Y'all went to Tuscaloosa. Y'all came over here. Got your butts whipped 42-13. 42-13 after beating us a year ago 48-45. No one was going to stop Alabama anyway. We saw what they did. But it's the Iron Bowl, Auburn. I want to see a close game every year. I know there might be Bama fans out there saying, I want to beat Auburn so bad, that they don't. I love a good close game in this rivalry. Unless it's that Jordan Hare, though. What's it going to take for Alabama to win a close game against Auburn in Tuscaloosa? Auburn just can't play there. I don't know. Then you lose to A&M, who ended up, only loss they had was Alabama. They had a good year. Case for the playoffs. Um, then you play at Mississippi State. Good win there, 24-10, and you lose the Citrus Bowl to Northwestern, 35-19. That being said, 6-5 overall. Gus Malzahn's fired. Now you bring in Brian Harsin from Boise State. And, yeah. All right. That being said, people, let's go ahead and look at 2021 for Auburn. Year one of the Brian Harsin era, which I think is a very interesting hire. Again, when they fired Malzahn, I'm like, obviously it was right for Auburn to do so. They had to move on from him. But I'm also sitting there thinking, who are you going to get to replace him that you can benefit from? Harsin, not this year, but I don't know. He had some pretty decent teams at Boise State. But again, like I said in the video I made over like earlier in the year or whenever he got hired, I said Boise State is not the SEC. You're playing with Georgia, LSU, A&M. You're playing with all of that. Got to put your big boy pants on. Come over here and play. But it's year one. Let's see who they got here. Got their spring game coming up this Saturday alongside Alabama. They got their A-Day game. But, yeah. They open up the season. Got a cupcake game. Couple cupcakes to open the season. Akron at home. Alabama State at home. Then they go on the road at Penn State. That's a home-and-home series. Penn State's going to come to Auburn next year. But first, they got to travel to Beaver Stadium in Happy Valley. Then they play Georgia State, go to Baton Rouge, play Georgia at home. They moved the Georgia game up because it's not fair that they got to play Bama and Georgia back-to-back weeks in November. But, I mean, what does it matter? At Arkansas, then a bye week, October 23rd. Play Ole Miss, at A&M. Mississippi State, and then at South Carolina, and then, of course, here we go. Go ahead and say it. Why are you winning this year's Iron Bowl at Jordan-Hare? I want to hear it. Go ahead. Why are you going to take out Bryce Young? Why? Oh, it'll come down to a field goal. Will Riker might be perfect all year, but once he hits the big time in Jordan-Hare, he's going to miss a kick like Bulovis did a couple years. Really? Auburn's going to have a tough team. They're filled with freshmen and sophomores all over their roster. Their defensive line has not been the same since they lost Derek Brown and Marlon Davidson a few years ago. Bo Nix is not... Sorry. He's not what he was hyped up to be. I remember when they recruited him, and everyone's like, oh, it's Patrick Nix's son, and Patrick Nix was great for Auburn in the 80s or whatever, and, this is his son, Bo, and Bo Nix comes out as a freshman 2019. Great game against Oregon. And I sat there and I'm like, this kid can play in clutch moments. He can do great. And then what did he do? He just declined, and it's just not what we expected him to be. I'm not saying he's terrible, but it's not what a lot of people expected him to be at Auburn. That's all I'm going to say. Overall, this schedule's pretty tough. I mean, you got Georgia at home. They're my preseason pick for the championship, if anybody. I would want Alabama to win it. But I'd love to, at some point, see Georgia win it. And they have JT Daniels coming back and everything. Already did a preview video on them. Yes, they lost George Pickens and I think, who's the other guy? Jermaine Burton or whatever for the season. And they might not have the best depth, but they still got great skill players. And their defense is something you don't want to mess with. Shoot. So you got, you start out Akron, Alabama State, at Penn State, Georgia State at home. They have some history with SEC teams. Tennessee. At LSU, Georgia, at Arkansas. Then you finally get a bye week. Perfect timing because you got Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin's doing something with that offense. Defensively, though, needs some work. You got Ole Miss. Then you go to Kyle Field. Home against Mississippi State, as Chess Hall and I say. At South Carolina, and then you get Alabama at home. Overall, this is a pretty tough schedule, especially the second half. I think you get it pretty easy the first 4 weeks, like the first month. Akron, Alabama State, Penn State, Georgia State. The Penn State game, I say easy, but it's Beaver Stadium. Will it be a night game? Will they have fans? And how does James Franklin and the Nittany Lions bounce back this season after a rough year last year when they had opt-outs and injuries? So to open the season, your first month is non-conference play. And 3 out of 4 are going to be cupcake-type games. The only one not going to be a cupcake game is Penn State. Then, you get in October, you finally start, the rest of it's pretty much conference play. But you start at LSU. LSU, we're saying, is like the worst defending champion ever. Outside of 2011 Auburn. Probably worse than that. But what are they going to look like this year? We don't know. Will they be better? I think LSU might be a little bit better. I don't think they get worse than what they were last year. And I guess I'm saying that. I use that lightly. Because they could have been worse last year. But after what Joe Burrow and all them did, when you look at it, could they do worse? I mean, you just went 15-0, had the best team in college football to have one of the worst seasons in your program's history. More on that in an LSU preview video. Georgia at Arkansas, but I mean, it's easy for Auburn the first part of the season, like the first month. Then you get into conference play, and it's all conference from there. I guess I'll go ahead and pick some games here. I think they beat Akron. I think they beat Alabama State. I mean, look, if y'all lose either one of those, I will come on here and laugh so hard. Especially, even if those were road games. If you played Akron or Alabama State on the road, even if it's on the road, an SEC team has no business losing to them. They might be good teams in their own conference or standpoint, but this is the SEC. And Auburn, if you lose these games, I swear to you, I will laugh harder than I've ever laughed in my life. I'm just saying. You got it kind of easy to start out, then you get into conference play. Right? I think they beat Akron and Alabama State. That's 2 wins right there so far. I think they're going to beat Georgia State week 4 of the season. I think Georgia's definitely going to beat them. Georgia State, they'll beat. Penn State, I don't know what to make of Penn State. I think it's kind of a coin flip at this point. They had a rough year last year, but that was due to opt-outs. Some of those guys might come back. I don't know. I think Penn State's going to do a little bit better this year. It's at home, and I got to give that game to Penn State there. Georgia, you'll lose to. At Arkansas is going to be interesting. Arkansas, I like what Sam Pittman's building. I really do. I think he's doing something great at Arkansas. It's not enough to compete with the big boys in the SEC or anywhere, but it's good enough to where you can look at them and say, okay, they can compete with a team like South Carolina or whoever. You know, we can work on something and get some good wins. You know, maybe give them a few years. Sam Pittman might have it to a 6-6 team. I don't know. I have a feeling Arkansas always plays a tough game against you guys, Auburn. They really do. Let's see. Ole Miss should be interesting. You're losing the Iron Bowl. And I don't see you going to Kyle Field and putting on a big-time performance, big-time upset on the road in College Station. I don't know. Overall, when I look at this, you win week 1 against Akron. You beat Alabama State. You're beating Georgia State. Do you go to LSU and win there? That's always been a close game. That's normally been in favor of LSU lately. Really, any home team. I'm going to give that to LSU. You're losing to Georgia. So, here's what I got. And I'll sum this up here. I think you lose to LSU. I think you lose to Georgia. You're definitely losing Alabama, right? Unless you can pull that off. And am I worried about it? Yes. Because Alabama always seems to get tripped up there. But I have a feeling Bryce Young and company can pull it out. I think we can make it to Atlanta. What happens against... I think it's definitely a lock that Georgia wins the East. What we do against them, we're not worried about yet. But we'll just have to wait and see. Overall, Auburn, I'm going to give it to you and say you go... Let's see. Your losses will be Georgia, Bama, let's say Penn State, LSU, and A&M. I think you could pull it off against South Carolina on the road. I think you could. Ole Miss and Mississippi State at home, you can get those. I think you're a little bit. I think you're a little bit better than the credit that people are giving you. Maybe you could go beat Arkansas and Fayetteville. I'm gonna say maybe you go 7-5 this year, right? Worst case scenario, you lay an egg and go like 5-7. I don't know, but I'll stick to 7-5 for Auburn's 2021 season. Again, let me know though. I know it might have seemed a little confusing. There's some games I just don't know yet. I don't know what Arkansas is going to look like because they looked pretty decent last year with Sam Pittman as their coach. They looked like they could compete a little bit, not with the big boys, but like with a team like Ole Miss or Mississippi State, they could compete. But we'll see. 7-5 for the Auburn Tigers. That's what I got for you. So, anyway, that's pretty much it for this preview video. I really don't know what to make of Auburn. I'm just going to take a guess and say 7-5. They're really tough to figure out right now. It's a first-year head coach from Boise State, which Brian Harsin did great, but the SEC is a whole nother level. They are, I know maybe they're going to be worse than what I'm thinking. I don't know. You can sit there and say, dude, you're crazy if you think they get past 6 wins. Again, I don't know what to make of them. But they do have a few home games that could be in their favor outside of Bama and Georgia. And they start out the first month with cupcake teams outside of the Penn State game week 3, right? So, I mean, 7 wins, 3 of them are going to be cupcakes, and then maybe they could pull off four conference wins somehow, like South Carolina or whoever. But anyway, we'll just have to wait and see what happens with Auburn going into next season. But anyway, that's it for this preview video. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching and tuning in today. Hey, be sure to hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Even if you didn't, it helps the channel out. I'm sick of seeing all the thumbs down, man. I do a really good job on here creating the content, working really hard on like half my videos, and I do it for you guys anyway. So hit that thumbs up. Really would appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in today. Please like, comment, and subscribe right here to Ballard Sports Media for more sports content. And until next time, Ballard Sports Media is checking out. Have a good day. Love you guys. Jesus loves you. Keep your head up. Have faith. And have a good day. Love you guys. And we'll see you next time. Roll Tide, roll.